This is a simple little jig I made to hold my work on this piece of extrusion and then my tape board. Let me show you how I made it. Okay, holding my work with this shaper router and my tape board, I have a couple of dogs in the back that keep it from going in that direction, and then these dogs here on the side keep it from going side to side. But I need to put some pressure on it this way to keep it clamped down and solid to my extrusion, and I've been using my quick clamps, but it's kind of a pain in the butt that this thing sticks out about 8 inches, and you know, it's kind of right where you don't want it, I'll put it that way. So what I'm going to do here is I've cut 2 slots with the shaper, 5/16 slots, 1 inch long, and I think that that's going to be enough to do what I want here. And I'm going to cut this end here is going to, I'm just going to leave that alone, but I'm going to cut it a little long this way, so that if I use 3/4 inch stock or thicker, I can have more of a bearing surface on my work. So, okay, so now you can see the difference here, what I've got going. You know, this is 8 inches. This is maybe 1.5 inches. So that's much more comfortable to work around, and it gives me the grip I need. So you can see this piece is not moving in any direction because I've just created basically a little step clamp here. So now I see what I've got going. I want to kind of expand on this idea. I'm going to take this block, not really going to throw it away, but I'm going to take what I've learned here, and there's 2 things that are going to be constant, and that's going to be this thickness right here, and this landing spot for my step is going to be right here, and I guess 3 things. The landing spot for this step will be above this dimension. So I can glue blocks on here. I believe I can get away with that, you know, and make them probably 1/2 inch so that we have some clearance. And the other thing I'm going to do is make a bigger thumb wheel. This is just too small. I want to get it, I've got room for another 1 inch to add to this, so I can make it, this is 1.25 inches. I can make it 2.25 inches. Okay, so 2.25 inches. What did I end up thinking this was going to be? Yeah, 2.25 inches, and 5/16 nut, 5/16 through hole. I should have cut this hole about 10 thousandths larger. It's too tight. So I'm just going to take a manual drill, you know, on my drill press, and open that hole up just a hair. Okay, that's better. So let me, I'm going to put some tape around the outside of this. So you just take a piece off of your roll, wrap it around your wheel, I'll call it, and then cut it a little long. Rip a strip off the width of your wheel, and then you can just apply it and trim it to fit on the end. This stuff is really sticky. Okay, I'm gonna take this over to another spot, but all I'm gonna do is cut through both pieces, just rock my knife back and forth so I can cut, get a nice clean cut both ways. All right, that really allows me to get a bite on this thing. I'm impressed by that. So the other thing, I can see that I need to make another one of these because my slot is just a little bit too short, I believe. And you can see, I think you can barely see my joint line there, right there. But that tape really gives you a nice grip. Well, rather than abandon the piece I had and cutting a new one, I simply just flipped it around and it works out pretty well. So you can see my work is held here nice and solid, both directions. So I could work on a small piece like this if I wanted to. The only thing I would need to do would be to, because when you get out here, your work is gonna wanna, or your router is gonna wanna tip a little maybe. But I could just take care of that by putting in these shims here, and that would take care of that problem. So I could take and route another wheel out of this, or do whatever I wanted on that small piece. Probably drill 3 or 4 more of those. So I think I'm going to stick with this right here. There's only one drawback, and that's that as you turn this wheel, this wants to kind of go with it. So you've got to kind of hold it to keep that from happening. But for me, that's really no big deal because I've got 4 or 5 more inches of working space here that I didn't have before, body wise. So there you go. And let me just show it to you here quickly. And the other thing is, I'm not going to glue anything on this end here. I'm going to leave that open, and I'll just use spacers like this to take up that slack. So there it is. I mean, just that, the hand wheel, the bolt, and then I just glued a small 1/4 inch piece on the end down here. And I have the ability to use this flat right here. It's about a 1/2 inch. So I can raise it up and get this to make contact up near the slot, or put it down near the bottom and get below this 1/2 inch surface here. But if I was using 3/4 inch material, I can get up a little higher and get a better bite on it that way. Well, I changed my mind. I decided to glue a piece on here. What happens is it gives me the ability to position this with one hand, and then I can just put my fingertip on top and that's it. I'm locked in. So I think that's the way to go if this was out of the way here. So now I can just slide this anywhere along the rail, position it, lock it, and I'm ready to go to work. So even if this was 3/4 inch stock, I don't have a piece handy, but this would work. I think this will work just as well. I could just jack it up a little bit like that and lock it down. And there we are. So I'm going to stick with this. Thanks for watching.